The Colgate scam, everything is there, including the statement made by the Prime Minister is there. Happiness does not come with the illegal acts one may commit. So look at the sufferings because of your greed. Become what you want to become in life, but become a human being first. Principal of this institution, Dr. Father Alphonse Fernandes. Vice Principal of the institution, Dr. Vincent. Program Coordinator, Dr. Ravi Kumar. Program Coordinator, Dr. Rajesh. HOD, Department of Political Science, Mr. Vignes. Other members of the teaching and non-teaching staff of the institution, and most importantly, my dear students. I deem it an honor to be present here this morning for more than one reason, but mostly because of the location of this institution. I'm so impressed. I'm sure you students who got admission in this institution are the blessed ones. I wish you all the very best in life. I worked in many positions, but until I came to the institution of Karnataka Lokayukta, I felt I was a frog in the well after I came to the institution. I did not know the sufferings of the people. I was comfortable and I thought most of the people were comfortable. Having worked in Karnataka Lokayukta for a short period, I realized the sufferings of the people. That too from the hands of institutions created under the Constitution of India to serve the people. I was wondering why this is happening. Then I realized the fault does not lie with individuals. Fault lies with the society in which we are. When I was young, I lived in a society which respected good people, felicitated them, and people who committed mistakes, people who went to jail, were punished by the society. It was not a punishment by a court of law, but it was a punishment by the society itself. For example, in my village, if somebody went to jail or somebody committed some heinous act, my parents would tell me, don't go near that house. The boycott was a punishment not only to the man who made the mistake, but to the other members of the family also. Consequence was people were afraid to commit mistakes. And since the society respected and felicitated people who did good work in the society, number of people who did such good work was much more than number of people who made mistakes. But things, my dear students, have changed very much. Today we live in a society which respects money and power, nothing else. How a person became rich, how a person came to hold a powerful post is not looked into at all. Any person who has made money anyway is respected. Any person who occupies a big post is respected. Consequently, there is a mad rush in the society to become rich and hold big posts. Of course, if you have money, you can buy a post today. If you are in a big post, you can make money. That is the society in which we are. My dear students, it's not my future. I'm 86 years old. It's your future, your children's future. What will happen in the days to come? You judge for yourself after hearing me for some time. I came to know when I made some researches of my own. For this, the present day cause is a disease called greed. This disease has no treatment. However much you make, you are not satisfied. You want more, you want more. How will you satisfy every one of them who wants to become rich overnight? You find a quicker way, and that quick way is always a illegal way. Let me give you some example of growth of greed in this country. Then you judge for yourself what's happening in this country. In the decade of 50s, dozens of scams took place. I'll give you one example, you compare it with the next decade. In the decade of 50s, there was a scam called Jeep scam, in importing Jeep vehicles from Great Britain for our soldiers. In that contract, a few people in power swindled 52 lakhs of rupees. Those were the days there was no crororepatis. Lakh years are the only ones who were there. And 52 lakhs was a huge sum at that point of time. And that was what was siphoned off by few people in power in that decade, apart from all other scams that took place. In the next decade, there was a scam called Bofors, in importing weapons for our soldiers from Sweden. Country lost 64 crores of rupees. Out of hundreds and hundreds of scams, this is one scam I'm mentioning. In the next decade, there was a scam called Commonwealth Games. Country lost 70,000 crores. These are not my figures. These are figures which are given to the Government of India after investigation by a constitutional authority called CAG, the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. He said in Commonwealth Games, 70,000 crores were swindled. Then came a scam called 2G. Country lost 1,76,000 crores. Then came a scam called Coalgate, the coal scam. Country lost 1,86,000 crores. Then came a scam called Rafale. Country lost 2 lakh crores in one scam. Imagine how much money that was generated in this country by the administration was lost because of this greed. The Prime Minister of India, late Rajiv Gandhi, in 1985 made a public statement wherein he said in that year, in 1985, out of 1 rupee the government spent for development, only 15 paise reached the target. Call this development? How much will it be today? One political party calls the other political party, you are a 40% government. If they ask the other party who is accusing how much it is when you are in power, not as much as you are. That is the social thinking today. My dear students, we are 5th in the world in economic status. Imagine if this much of money is not siphoned off, what would have been the development of this country? Think for it for yourself. What is that you can do to change this society? This disease of greed has no treatment. The only way you can control it, and successfully too, if you inculcate one of the social values which our elders had established in the society called contentment. In Kannada we call it tripti. If you have contentment, this disease won't come near you. If you have the disease of greed and then acquire contentment, you will see that that greed gets suppressed by the contentment that you acquire. This contentment need not be purchased in a medical shop. All you have to do is inculcate it yourself. When I was young, my parents told me the do's and don'ts of life. If I made a mistake, I was corporally punished. And I was told why I was punished. And I was told the consequences of the value or inculcating contentment or the use of the same. When I went to school, there was a subject called moral science, which reiterated what my parents told me. But today, most of the parents are working parents. Work itself is a disease according to me. You want to get promotion there, you want to go for good posting, you must find a shortcut for that, mostly illegal shortcuts. If this is the way the society encourages the youth of the country to become greedy, how will there be peace and solidarity in the society? I've seen it from close quarters, the sufferings of the people who are dependent upon the government's issues. Think of your children. What will happen in a country like this if greed grows further and further? You people study within the hope of getting into some good job in the government. The government jobs are sold. What will be your thinking then? Will you be at peace yourself when you see you have been cheated? How will The children learn when there is no, when you go to school now, there is no subject called moral science. Why do you want moral science? It doesn't fetch you money. The present curriculum is 10 times better than what it was during my time. Today they teach you how to make an atom bomb, but they don't teach you how to use it or where to use it. See the consequences, what's happening in Ukraine, what's happening in Gaza. Somebody sent me a videograph of a 6-year-old child saying, "What did I do? I had a mother. She's not there. I had a small house. It's not there. Where will I go? Why should I suffer?" Has anybody got an answer for that? Because of the greed of some people in power, the sufferers are the ones who are innocent. My dear student, please try and inculcate this value of contentment. Contentment doesn't mean you get a degree, you get a job, then you become a sannyasi. All of you must have an ambition to become somebody rich, somebody big. Legitimately earned wealth or post is no source of illegal means. I can tell you, if you inculcate contentment in life, you get such peace. You get a good night's sleep without having to take sleeping pills. I'm speaking from my experience. I retired in 2011 and I gave dozens of reports, out of which one is a mining report. In that one report, I named 3 chief ministers of this state, 8 ministers, 16 MLAs and MLCs, more than 150 officers, not tahsildars and constables, secretaries and others. How much money do you think they would have offered me if I had not put their name? No. If there was anything wrong in me, having made them public, they would have stripped me naked and dragged me in the streets of Bangalore. I retired in 2011. Every day I go to schools and colleges and other institutions and speak about it. They don't belong to one political party. They are in the political parties of the 3 political parties which govern this state, be it Congress, JDS or BJP. JDS Chief Minister is the man who invited me to become the Lokayukta and I indicted him. Not out of vengeance, my dear students, because of the fact I saw so much sufferings of the people. Imagine a pregnant lady walks 7 kilometers to a government hospital to deliver a child because one of the schemes of government of Karnataka said if a girl child is born in a government hospital, the child is entitled for financial benefits. Because the villagers told her, she walked all the way, didn't have the money for a bus, and there the hospital staff sought money. She didn't have the money they demanded, and they didn't make it less. So she had to walk out of the hospital, sit in the bus stop, and deliver a child. It's a girl child. And when she applied for the money for the child, she was told that the child was not born in a government hospital, but was born in a bus stop. I gave a report explaining every step that woman had taken and how she was deprived of delivering a child in the government hospital by government servants. And I said, for every evil act of a government servant, government is liable. And the child has to be given the monetary benefit that you give, and they gave it. But is it the way that society deals with situations like this? Would you have done that? You are paid handsomely. You get pension when you retire from the government job. But what do? I'll give you another example of what's happening. One day, a couple came with a 6-month-old child. I asked them, what's the problem? They said that this child looks perfectly all right, but the child has no rectum. It eats through the mouth, defecates through the mouth. The local doctor said not to worry because it is a treatment through surgery, the child can be improved. So they took the child to a government medical college hospital. The doctor there examines the child and says, I'll do everything all right, perfect, but it costs you so much money. The couple knew that this is what's happening in the hospital, so they had borrowed some money and taken it and all that. They kept the bundle in front of the doctor. The doctor counts that money and said, no, for this money I'll make a hole near the rib cage. The fecal matters will go out of there. And the child has to wear a bag throughout life to collect the fecal matters. The parents didn't agree. They brought the child to Lokayukta. Our officers took the child to Manipal Hospital in the old airport road where my treatment was going on, and the owners were from my native place. I begged of them to give future to this child, and they did the operation. After that, every year on her birthday, they used to FaceTime with me, asking me to wish the child. How happy one feels. Last October, they brought the child to my apartment. 16-year-old girl studying in SSLC. Imagine the fact that would be if some one of us were the victim there. Merely because you have not been a victim, don't think it is a thing to be forgotten. Inculcate this value. I mentioned about the incidents that take place in the hospitals. I'll give you another incident which doesn't involve a hospital. One day, a lady over 80, 85 came to my house. I asked, what is the problem? My office. What's the problem? She said, sir, I have no income. I have one son working in Mumbai. He sends me 250 rupees by money order. Postman wants 10%. You don't give 10%. I visited the house 3 times. Addressee not found. Returned to the sender. But it never went to the sender. It was siphoned off. And nobody would complain. Nobody would take the matter because 250 rupees. Son can't come from Mumbai to fight. I had no jurisdiction to do and investigate the case because the postman was a semi-government employee. The Lokayukta Karnataka can investigate only the local officer. I telephoned to a person who was supposed to investigate such cases. And he tells he must have calculated during my conversation 250 rupees, 10%, 25 rupees. He told me, I have no officers for 25 rupee cases. My officers are busy investigating crores and lakhs of rupees scams. You have a police force, you do it yourself. I had no other way. I asked my police chief to do something. He went to the house of the postman and told him, if you do it next time, and I know what to do with you. And that's understood, I'm sure, by you also. What is that they will do? They'll fix him in a false case. It stopped. But only for that lady. What about others? What sort of a society we are in, my dear students? What will be the future of this country? What will be your future, your children's future? When you have to buy everything that is legitimately yours under law or the constitution. The system is failing everywhere. The constitution has provided various systems like the legislature, the executive, the judiciary. People have lifted the media to the level of those 3 pillars and called the fourth estate of India and all, but they are not constitutional bodies. What's happening? Take every one of them, including the profession I worked for 50, 55 years. Recently, they found crores of rupees in the house of a Delhi High Court judge. There isn't a body, whether it is governmental or private bodies, where there is no greed. If you acquire money through greed, you will never be happy. You are afraid when the enforcement department will come, when the IT department will come, when the robbers may come. With so much of cash in the house, how will my children grow out to be? I saw a TV investigating report a few months back where a top politician was raided. 252 crores of rupees were bundled and kept as cash in the house. It was seized by the enforcement department. How will he feel? Was he getting sleep? That money cannot be kept in a bank. Even if that person is acquitted of corruption, that money will not go back to him. The moment he says money is mine, he is sure to be behind bar. And the money will be seized. Think of the life you think you enjoy that life. You may have fabulous cars, big houses, may have jewelry, but your mind will not be free from fear. Whereas if you have earned the money legitimately, you have paid your tax, you have not only done your duty, but you will be happy. Try and understand the consequences, my dear students. Become rich. There are legitimate ways to become rich. Pay your taxes. Be happy. Don't indulge in corrupt practices. That will never ever give you happiness. You may think, I get 1 crore of rupees, I'll be very happy. No. That crore may not be with you one day. There is one more value which is necessary in life. That's called humanism. Manaviyate, my dear students. You are not born as a human being. There is no species called human beings. In science, we are born to a species called Homo sapiens, which has got nothing to do with humanism. Humanism is a value which elders created among Homo sapiens who have acquired humanism. In Canada, our poets have written decades back, ಏನೇ ಆಗು ಏನೇ ಆಗು ನಿನಗೆ ಬೇಕಾದವನಾಗು ಆದರೆ ಮೊದಲು ಮಾನವನಾಗು ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಎಂಥ ಮಾತು. Become what you want to become in life, but become a human being first. How do we look at it? I'll give you an example. 2011, a youngster called Harish Nanjappa, 28-year-old chap, was riding a motorcycle in the outskirts of Bangalore. Behind him, a truck was coming with one of the front tire punctured, but still riding. It climbs over his motorcycle and the rim cuts the body into two pieces and it was lying in the road. There are dozens of people who were videographing, photographing. He was alive. He asked for a little water. Nobody gave it. The ambulance came. The staff picked the pieces of body and put it in the ambulance. He was still alive. He told the staff, please tell the doctor to donate my eyes. Look at the contradiction in terms. Where was the humanism in those people who were taking photographs? Look at him. He is dying. No fault of his. He's not angry. He doesn't talk about the accident. He thinks about doing something to the society, even the last breath of his life. I don't want any one of you to be involved in incidents like that. But understand the need to be a human being. In your everyday life, think for yourself. How many opportunities come to you to help somebody who needs some help? It may be an elderly person carrying some goods, which some of them may fall down and he's not able to bend down, he's making effort to pick it up. And you are passing by. How many of you really give him a hand to lift the goods? A blind man waiting to cross the road. How many volunteer to help him to cross the road? There are umpteen opportunities in one's life. If you want to be known as a human being, you must inculcate humanism first. My dear students, I have given you some examples like this accident. This is not a made-up case for the sake of this lecture. The ZTV has given a posthumous award to that person, which was awarded to his mother, and I was invited to give the award. The figures which I mentioned about the scam, they are there in Google. If you go to your iPhone, go to Google, find out the Jeep scam, the Bofors, the Commonwealth Games, the 2G scam, the Colgate scam, everything is there, including the statement made by the Prime Minister is there. Think of your life, ladies and gentlemen. Happiness does not come with the illegal acts one may commit. So look at the sufferings because of your greed. Well, these are the two values which I have mentioned. I also mentioned the consequences of not being honest or not having humanism in you. I'm prepared to take questions if you're willing to ask.